I'm your host, Annie Bowles, and this is News du Jour. Hey you guys, and welcome back to the News du Jour, a calmer space to consume the news. Real quick, here at the top, I have an ask for you guys. If the news on News du Jour helps you stay informed, if we help improve your life or improve your day, would you mind leaving us a review? 5 stars would be amazing. And a little review recapping why you love the podcast would seriously just mean the world to us. We have gotten stagnant in our reviews and ratings, and I would love to just pick up the pace a little bit more. It helps us do better on the charts. It helps us find new people to listen to our podcast by getting it in front of more faces on the different platforms. So whatever podcast platform you listen on, if you wouldn't mind leaving us a rating, we would so appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in and listening to the News du Jour. Now, without further ado, we will jump into the news. First up, we do have 2 mini stories for you guys and then 3 longer stories. Let's get into it. So for our first mini story, the Hollywood writers' strike, I wanted to give you guys a little update. It looks like this could potentially be a while. The writers and studio executives are really facing off, and, kind of any hope that things were going to magically work out has kind of simmered and faded away. The legal teams are saying it could take as long as 3 months or even longer to settle all of these disputes and come to terms that everyone can agree on. And it may be even long enough to disrupt major award shows like the Emmys, for example. The WGA, or Writers Guild of America, is determined to wait it out. So we'll see what happens, and we will be sure to keep you guys posted.
From the gas pump to the grocery store, inflation is everywhere. Seriously, make it stop. Thankfully, there's one company out there that's giving you a much-needed break. It's Mint Mobile. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text, plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/switch. That's mintmobile.com/switch.
And for our second mini story, I hate having to issue a content warning over a mini story because it's just a little update, but this was kind of intense. So I wanted to say this story does involve images of mass shootings, graphic images. So people are very upset over Twitter allowing for graphic images of the most recent mass shooting in Texas to circulate on their platform. Even images of children, you guys, bloodied and deceased, are just up there for everyone to see. Many are reminding Twitter leadership that these families do not deserve this. They don't deserve to get on the internet and see images of their dead children. They should be on the forefront of everyone's mind. The family should. However, it's sad that it takes reminding, but Elon Musk has made it clear that he wants Twitter to be a public square, a public forum where anything goes. So I guess that includes pictures of dead children. And for our first longer story today, I also have to issue a content warning. This story involves rape. So we have to discuss who is Tara Reade and why is she potentially testifying before Congress. So we've touched on this subject before, but I wanted to do a deeper dive and a deeper look at it because this case is heating up. Have you ever heard of Tara Reade before? If not, she would say that that's likely because the Democratic leadership is squashing her story. Literally, her banner on Twitter reads, quote, "Left out when the truth doesn't fit in," end quote. She is the 1990s accuser of President Biden. She worked for him briefly and has accused him of rape for years. And she has now been invited to testify in Congress by two MAGA Republicans, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz. And just prior to this, she tweeted out, quote, "I want to make something clear. If something happens to me, all roads lead to Joe Biden. Joe Biden and the DNC political machine threats, bullying, and intimidation over the last 3 years will not work. I am not suicidal. I should not be under investigation, nor am I a foreign agent. I am a private citizen. I was a former staffer of Joe Biden's that has chosen to step forward to tell the truth. The tactics using intimidation and bullying to silence me and suppress me using DOJ and FBI and social media will not work. Leave me alone. I will testify under oath in Congress if asked to do so and tell what happened and what I know. The Biden corruption must end. Period." Thank you, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene and Matt Gaetz, for inviting me to testify and caring about the truth. End quote. She also responded to someone claiming that she was being paid by saying, quote, "No, I'm not getting paid to testify about being raped by my former boss. You are an absolute ghoul. Sexual assault is nonpartisan." End quote. And she's absolutely right. Sexual assault is definitely nonpartisan, and she deserves to be heard. President Biden has denied all allegations made by Tara Reade. We'll definitely keep you guys posted. And next up, this story also comes with a content warning. I feel like every story we've done this week so far has had a content warning. Anywho, this story involves a mass killing. So 8 migrants were killed after someone drove a truck into a crowd. In Brownsville, Texas, this past Sunday, a Range Rover plowed into a crowd of people, killing 8 and injuring at least 10 more. This crowd was out in front of a center that serves the homeless near the border with Mexico. So as you can imagine, a lot of the people there are migrants. And it seems possible that this act of violence was intentional due to maybe political leanings against migrants specifically, or the homeless as well. One person had to be airlifted to a nearby hospital. When the police got there, there were already 6 people dead. So you guys can imagine how violent an incident this must have been to instantly kill 6 people, leaving 8 in total dead and so many more injured. The man driving the car, George Alvarez, was initially charged with reckless driving, but later charged with 8 counts of manslaughter. It's definitely possible that additional charges will be added on. They actually took his blood in order to fully analyze whether or not he was under the influence at the time of the crash, because he was not cooperating to do breathalyzers and things like that. Investigators are still trying to determine whether or not the act was deliberate. Some witnesses claim that he hurled anti-immigrant slurs at the group as he hit them with his car. So it's definitely possible that this was not an accident. And it seems like George Alvarez was quite a character, quite a peach. Already known to local police, he's been arrested for driving under the influence before, as well as assault and stealing. He also goes by several different names, so he's reportedly been very difficult with the police, not just in this instance, but he has a record of being difficult with them. We'll definitely keep you guys posted if we hear anything else about this crazy case. But of course, our heart goes out to anyone who was harmed or their loved ones. Anyone who's been affected by this incident will be thinking of you. And lastly for today, student heroes saving lives in Sudan. This is the one story today, besides the Hollywood writer's strike mini story, that doesn't come with a content warning. Yay for that. Anyway, as tensions are rising and violence was increasing in Sudan, 2 students decided to take matters into their own hands. They knew there were people who needed to get out. And when they got a phone call about a senior UN official who was trapped amongst the worst fighting, they knew that they needed to fire up their side gig, a taxi service, and go rescue her. And that is what they did. They pulled up in their car, fighters walking everywhere with guns, smoke billowing out from surrounding buildings, and warplanes flying overhead. But she hopped in with her dead cell phone and probably knew that this ride was her Hail Mary moment. These students probably saved her life. This woman's living room had been littered with bullets coming through the walls and the windows, and they very well could have killed her. She had actually been hiding in her bathroom for days, running out of water, electricity, and food. They made it through numerous checkpoints using a ruse about her being pregnant and needing to get to the hospital. Once they reached the refugee hotel, safety, she wept with relief. But then she turned to the boys and asked, "Could you go get my friends too?" Yikes. They had just risked their lives for her, and now they needed more help. But they agreed, and they went on to rescue dozens of other people who were stranded amongst the worst fighting. Everyone from diplomats to aid workers whose usual forms of transportation had chickened out. And I am very confident that not one of those people will ever forget Hassan or Sami, who showed up for them, a stranger, with a smile in the middle of a war zone. These 2 men are true heroes and honestly, such an inspiration. And that for today, you guys, is the news du jour. Today, I wanted to leave you guys with the quote, "Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and others have greatness thrust upon them." If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on whatever podcast platform you use to listen. A rate and review or shout out on social media would mean the world to us and help us be able to keep creating the news du jour. But the best way to support all of our work is to become a patron at www.patreon.com/sugarfreemedia. You can also follow us on social media under sugarfreemedia.co on Instagram and just sugarfreemedia, all one word, on TikTok. We appreciate you listening and look forward to telling you about the news again next time on News du Jour.
Broadcasting from